Hello and welcome back. What I did here is actually I made the creator a little bit bigger by moving that out, and I'm going to move the camera a little bit closer to our narrator. And you'll notice on either sides of her, I've placed two panels with text on them. These are located inside the library, and if you click on Building, you can see there's the panels right there. All I did was pull those out and then drag them up to sit next to the girl on either side of her. Once you have the panel, you need to click on the corner of the panel. Don't click on the front of the panel because that is the text. Click on the corner of the panel, two-finger click it. Make sure that it is tagged um, as being able to be used in your coding program over here. And then secondly, you can click on T for text and you can add your fact into it. I just grabbed one fact from the narrator talking through the virtual tour here. There's one fact, and I just picked up something else from what he was talking about as he went through the tour. Okay, once we've got everything done there, let's move into our code right here. When you click on code, I have my code all ready to go here, but it will pop up with three options. You want to use co-blocks right here. This is the option you want to check. There are three options, and you want to use co-blocks. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I've already got the code ready to go here. You can see I'm going to guide you through how to build this, and then you can start to add your own custom pieces into it. Okay, first we have the girl, fancy girl, say click on me, because we want the player to know, or the user to know, to click on her to start things. And that is just under actions, under generic, and you can see it is right here. Okay, you can just pull that out and put that in. Once you've got that completed, you'll notice the next part here is when Fancy Girl is clicked, and you can see everything else sits inside of that. All this stuff sits inside of that block right there. And that block is located under Events, and you can see it is right here. And you can just pull that out and place that there. Okay, next up, Fancy Girl say click. We're having the Fancy Girl say click on, she says click on the facts to complete the scene. Then click on me to move on. Okay, so we want the person, whoever is going to be viewing this in AR or VR, to click on both of these panels and then click on her to move on. So after we put that in, and if you recall, that block is under generic and it is right here. We want to put a little pause in, so she pauses and allows for the person to read it. Pause is under control and under other, and it's the very top block right here. Pause for however many seconds, and we chose 3 seconds. Now we want the girl to stop talking after she finishes her sentence. So all we do is we go into generic again, go to Fancy Girl Say, and we get her to say nothing. We delete the text in there. Okay, moving on to the next part. We're going to be using a variable to complete this next section. So you can see it is a red block right here, and it says set variable facts to 0. So what we're doing is we're creating a value and placing it in a bucket, and we've decided to call this variable facts, and it'll make sense as we move through here. So to get variables, you go down to data, you go down to variables, and you can see it says set variables to kind of dot there, and I'll just pull this one out and do this one quickly for you. Now you type in here facts, as you can see right here, I typed in facts, and then what I did is you can see there's numbers here. So what I did is I went to value just above variables here, and I scrolled down, and you can see here is the number right here, and all I did was put it inside that box. Okay, so that's all you need to do. I'll pull this one out because we don't need that one. Okay, next up, once I've set my variable to 0, I'm going to grab a when panel is clicked, and panel is this panel right here. So when it's clicked, we want to change the facts by 1. We want this to change from 0 to 1. To do that, all we're going to do is go down to variables, and you see here's the change variable right here, and you're just going to drag it up and put it in here. Once you've done that, you're going to go up and you're going to scale the panel to decimal 0, 1, and 2 seconds. That makes it look like it's shrinking. So the scale is under transform, under transitions, and you can see here's scale right here. And all you do is you drag that out and change the numbers in here to decimal 0, 1, and 2 seconds. Okay, once you've got that, it's very easy. All you need to do is two-finger click this and duplicate this entire block right here, and two-finger click or right-click, and that will place the block down below. And the only thing you're changing in here is the panel you're doing. So rather than doing this panel here, you're doing panel 1, and this is panel 1 right here. And it's exactly the same code for that. So it is changed from, the variable is changed from 0 to 1 and then to 2. So now the variable is at 2, the number 2. Okay, moving on to the last piece of our code. We're going to grab another when fancy girl is clicked, and if you recall, that is under events right here. And I drag that and pull it in, and we're using a bit of a different block here. So this is an if-else block. And that is located under control, and you can see if is right here, and you can see that whole block is located here. And I'm going to pull it out really quick to hopefully make it easy to show you how it's done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the variable facts in there. So facts, of course, is our facts variable right here that is now at 2. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to go to data, I'm going to go to variables, and I'm going to drag this red block in, and I put it inside there. And then all I do is click on this, and I'm going to change it to an equal sign, so you can see an equal sign there. So if facts equals 2, because they've clicked on both of these panels, then I want the fancy girl to say, well done. I think she says, let's move on to another different part of the crater. Now if they don't click on these facts, I want the girl to say, don't forget to click on both panels. I'm just going to pull this out. So you can see that they have to click on both panels to change the variable to 2. They have to. If they don't, it will say this. She says, don't forget to click on both panels. Well, let's see if this code actually works. So let's click play. And she says, click on me. Click on the facts to complete the scene. Then click on me to... Now that was a little bit too fast. I couldn't read that. So I'm going to actually change this to 4 seconds. Pause for 4 seconds. So that should give me enough time to read it. Click on me. Click on the facts to complete the scene. Then click on me to move on. Okay, I could read that. So click on the fact on the left here. Now I'm going to click on her to see if I can move on. She says, oh, don't forget to click on both panels. Okay, so I'm going to click on both panels. Now when I click her, because the variable has increased to 2, well done. Let's go to a different part of the crater. Okay, hopefully this tutorial has been useful for you, and you can really start building your own presentation now with some of this code that you now know how to use.